So you've been thinking about moving to Boston. So I've been living in the Boston area for my whole life, 50 plus years, and have been working in real estate as an investor, as a homeowner, and I've been a realtor helping people buy and sell homes for the last 20 years. In the time that I've lived here, I've encountered many people who were caught off guard or surprised by some of these things about living in Greater Boston. In this video, I'm going to share with you the most important pros and cons of living in the Boston area. I'm Jane. I'm a realtor in Wellesley, which is about 15 miles west of Boston proper. My channel is about what it's like to live in the Boston suburbs. Subscribe if you'd like to stay updated as we put out a new video each week. And if you're thinking about moving here, please reach out. I would love to help you. Now I'm going to jump into some of the pros of living in Greater Boston, starting with our amazing university. Lots of people come here for college and never leave. Do you know that there are about 140,000 students in Greater Boston? That's including undergraduate and graduate. Some of the schools that you're definitely going to have heard of are Harvard, MIT, Wellesley College in my hometown. There's technology schools like Wheelock. There's music schools like Berkeley. And one of the cons to having all these students coming and going is that we have an amazing move-in day around Labor Day, where it's not a good day to be driving around downtown because there are everywhere. And in the spring, we have something that's referred to as Alston Christmas. And that's when all the college students are leaving for the summer and they're going out of their apartments and they can't be bothered to get rid of their furniture, so they just leave it on the sidewalk. So enterprising students go and pick out their furniture if they're staying for the summer, or maybe they're here all year round for grad school, and that's a great way to furnish your apartment. Greater Boston is actually the 8th most popular city for college students. So having so many students in our city and surrounding town gives it a really great youthful vibe. We have a lot of smart people studying very interesting things, but something that comes with that is some inconvenience on trying to get around at certain times of the year. And now let's jump into another pro, which is our outstanding hospitals and medical care. People fly in from all over the globe for surgeries and treatment. We are really fortunate to have access to all these major hospitals, from Dana-Farber's Cancer Institute, which is always doing cutting edge research on cancer, and our Children's Hospital is renowned as well. We have top doctors, and they're all affiliated with the top medical schools as well. So it is rare not to find that your specialist is affiliated with Harvard Medical School. I have a close friend who's being treated for cancer right now, and it was amazing. She had personal friends that were the head of nursing at UMass Medical Center. That nurse's husband was a top doc in Boston. So by the day she got her diagnosis, just reaching out to her immediate circle of friends, she had been connected to the experts in her particular treatment of her particular kind of cancer. When my son was 4, he developed a pretty acute asthma, and we rushed him off to Children's Hospital, and I was about 32 at the time, and I remember being shocked because all of my doctors were younger than me. You're getting a lot of medical students are also participating, or residents are participating in your care, but to our benefit. So in general, there are terrific hospitals and top-notch specialists in every kind of specialty in Greater Boston. So now I'm going to move on to a con, which you may have heard about, our weather. So our weather is a pro and a con. It can be super hot in the summer, it can be super cold in the winter, and we get everything in between. The old saying is, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. And this January, we've had everything from 5-degree days to 55-degree days. It was snowing on Monday, and today the snow is all gone on Friday. One of the benefits is you have the opportunity to take advantage of skiing and winter sports, and also we're really close to beautiful beaches. So all of that is part of the climate here in Greater Boston. And of course, you've probably heard of our amazing world's best sports teams, from the New England Patriots football team to the Boston Bruins to the famous Red Sox. We have something for everyone. We even have a pro soccer team you might not have heard of, known as the New England Revolution. Get it? So I have heard that we have what's known as the more obnoxious sports fans. We are passionate about our sports and we take ourselves pretty seriously. When my son was little, he was a real big Red Sox fan. A lot of fun going to games together, and As he got older, he became a super football fan. So we were really into the Patriots, and now he lives in Colorado. So sometimes for fun, I call him up and we FaceTime and we listen to our local sports talk radio because it is such a classic Boston scene. All the guys who call in sound about the same. They all seem to have the Boston accent, and they have very strong ideas about what the Patriots need to be doing to fix that offense this year. So that is quintessentially Boston. Everyone has an opinion and they're dying to share it. So the next pro I want to talk about is our outstanding public schools. So one of the great things about selling real estate here is that people know about our reputation for excellent schools, and it is a driver to our suburbs. So some of the things that make it outstanding are that there's 24 districts in Greater Boston with an A+ rating from niche.com. You'll find that it's really valued as low as preschool. We have excellent integrated public preschool programs. We're very cognizant of class size. I sent my daughters to the public preschool, which is the integrated school. So basically what that means is they have typical kids and they have kids with special needs. So if your child is 3 or 4 and maybe they have a speech delay or they need some occupational therapy, and in our area, there's a pretty proactive plan to identify those students and provide them support from when they're very young. So my daughters, who are twins, went to this preschool at 3, and one of the things they actually said she would benefit from some occupational therapy, and did I want that? I'm like, yes, absolutely. So I don't think that is something that would have been recognized in a smaller private preschool, and when she went to kindergarten, she didn't need it anymore. And so the elementary school that my kids attended was excellent. It was a nurturing, caring place. I felt like my kids got a lot of personal attention, and as they moved on through middle school and high school, there were a lot of interesting courses for them to choose from. There's a lot of AP courses at our high school, and my kids took everything from Mandarin to Spanish to French, and they were able to pursue that all the way through high school. Now, one of the cons of having such a highly educated community and people who are so committed to education is that by the time the kids get to high school in all of these towns, they can be pretty intense academically, and these kids really want to do well. So they're all pretty focused on getting into a great college, and that does pervade the air, in my opinion, at the high schools. There's 100 schools for any student that you would do well at, and they're not necessarily here in Boston, but you certainly have a lot of possibilities in Boston. So now that you're living here, one of the things you're going to find is that there is pretty heavy congestion in our traffic. If you're commuting to Boston by car, it can easily take you an hour to get there from Wellesley or Newton or Natick. And you can also take the commuter rail or the subway, and some towns have them run more frequently than others. For example, in my hometown of Wellesley, I can walk from my house to the commuter rail station, but there's no train that stops between 7:30 and 8:15. So years ago, before I was in real estate, when I was commuting, I did take the train, and you had to catch that 7:30 or your next opportunity to get on the train was 8:15. Another pro to living in Greater Boston is our great American history. So when you're a child growing up in Lexington or Concord, you are steeped in stories of the American Revolution. Every year on Patriots Day, which is around April 19th, there's a reenactment when the Minutemen met the Redcoats in Lexington Center. We lost, by the way, and they marched on to Concord, where they got their butt kicked. So that is something that the entire town goes to. He came for the bicentennial in 1976, and it's something that the whole town turns out for, looks forward to, and has a lot of pride about. Now I live in Wellesley, so also on Patriots Day is the Boston Marathon. So that's another storied, historic event. It's obviously 26 miles, and it runs from Hopkinton all the way to downtown Boston. So people line the entire route, which comes right through Wellesley Center. So that's another day that you have to plan your commute or your driving or your errands around the marathon. The halfway point of the Boston Marathon goes right by Wellesley College. So they call the Scream Tunnel. So about 2,000 Wellesley College students go out with signs, and sometimes they hand out kisses. It's a really fun day. When you have people visiting you, there's a ton of fun things to do in downtown Boston to learn about our history. There's the Freedom Trail, which is actually a self-guided tour you can do around some of our most historic buildings, and Old Ironsides, the Constitution. So you can tour Old Ironsides, the USS Constitution, which is still in service, and it was built in 1796 and saved our butts in the War of 1812. She is the world's oldest ship still afloat. Another really fun thing to do is to go to the Boston Tea Party Museum, where they do a reenactment of the Bostonians throwing tea in the harbor. It's a really fun activity, so take your friends. So we had a family visiting us with children from the ages of 5 to 19, and so we all went to the Boston Science Museum. That is also a really cool place, always interesting exhibits. So there's a diverse job opportunities, everything from academia to the medical field. It's a huge technology area, and it's a birthplace of a lot of biosciences and also, of course, finance. So because of that, our diverse economy, it's a healthy economy. So one of the reasons that these tech companies and bioscience companies are basing their companies here is that we have such an amazing pool of talent from these undergrad and graduate students that are studying here and want to stay here. And this all contributes to what I'm going to talk about next, which is a con, which is our high cost of living. So yes, we are one of the places in the country that real estate is super expensive, and in general, we have a high cost of living. According to payscale.com, here are some averages of living in Greater Boston. So gas right now is $5.51 a gallon, and compared to my friend who lives in Atlanta, he says he can get gas for $3 a gallon. Phone bill about $233. I'm going to guess that's a cell phone bill, and yeah, that sounds about right to me. Energy costs $211.74. So in my town, we have a town utility. So we get our water, sewer, and electric all in one bill. And our town negotiates and gets electric from a variety of sources. For example, you can opt in to get your energy from renewable sources. So part of that is there's a wind farm in Maine that provides some of our electricity, and they're getting into biofuel. So $211.74 sounds about right to me for heating your house even in this climate. Median rent. So we're going to get into rent and the average median home price. So $27.60 sounds about right. That would be about a 2-bedroom home, not too fancy. The average median home price in Greater Boston is $903,555. So in my town, it's actually twice that. Here's an example of the typical prices in my town, which is Wellesley, which is about a half hour west of Boston proper. The median home price sold last year was $1.8 million, and the median list price per square foot is $627. The median listing price was $2.2 million. So to give you some idea of what you can get, I'm going to give you an example of what $900,000 can get you right now in Wellesley. Here's a beautiful apartment. It's actually a condo. It is an old elementary school that was converted about in the 80s into individual condos. So it's in a beautiful neighborhood, and as you can see, it's an elegant place from the outside, and it abuts some fields where my son played a lot of baseball when he was a kid. So it's got some walking trails, it's convenient to the train, and you'll see that it's pretty and has a lot of natural light, a nice fireplace, a dining room. However, the kitchen is pretty much vintage 80s. You have some nice private outdoor space. You have a little balcony and then also a patio. So this is pretty typical of this development. But keep in mind, it's on for $895, and you're only getting 1,200 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And your monthly fee is about $1,000. So not a lot for move-in condition at $900,000. Now here's a cute house that's pending. So it's under contract but hasn't closed yet. And for $799, we're not sure what it closed for, but you'll see, you get a cute little kind of updated and expanded cape. There's a little private patio, and you're right near Morse's Pond, which is this beautiful resource we have right on the outskirts of Wellesley, between Wellesley and Natick. I have friends who live on Russell Road, and we've gone canoeing with them off their own little dock. There's walking trails. Sometimes, some winters, the kids can skate there. But you can see for $799, it's pretty dated. So this house would be great with a facelift, and you might be surprised to see that the lot is tiny. So the house itself is about 1,650 square feet. There's 4 beds and 1 bath, but it's only 5,800 square foot lot. So these homes were cottages for people escaping from Boston for summer vacation homes, and over the years have been converted to year-round homes. So some of the lots are a little bit wonky and definitely small, but you get the benefit of being really close to the pond. $900,000 doesn't go as far as it does in some other parts of the country. But if you're thinking about moving to Boston, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you. And those are my pros and cons from my experience of living here.